I'm a sucker for really good historical fiction. And earlier this year, I read a damn good one. Magni O'Farrell's Hamnet. It imagines the life of William Shakespeare, his wife Agnes, and his 3 children as they navigate life in 16th century England. If you assume things don't go great for the family of the man who wrote some of the world's greatest tragedies, you'd be right. It's well written, heart-wrenching, and devastating. And last week when I saw its faithful film adaptation in the theaters, I heard that same line uttered on the screen, and I was like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
And like an avalanche, this idea for this essay tumbled into my mind right then and there. Sure, it was a combination of things that had been bubbling up for months and years, but that one line somehow brought it all together for me. This is certainly one of the more personal videos I've ever made, but as you'll see, that's precisely why I had to write it. Now, if you're wondering, Steve, what the hell is the line? This is what we in the business call a cliffhanger, but also some context probably helps. I've had a pretty interesting career as a full-time writer for the past 15 years. Thanks to a combination of hard work, good timing, luck, and, well, let's be honest, insecure overachiever syndrome, I created a pretty damn cool thing, Nerd Fitness. It was the perfect life hack for a moderately introverted writer who was afraid of the spotlight. I could write about non-controversial topics like squats, push-ups, and eating vegetables, sprinkle a little bit of my humor, and build a business around it. And honestly, things just kind of worked for a long time. Hundreds of millions of people searched for these ideas. Millions of people visited nerdfitness.com, and some of those people bought products or services that we offered, and that allowed me to build a pretty great life. My accidental side project somehow turned into a pretty big company with a worldwide community, an amazing team with dozens of employees and team members. I'm really, really proud of it. And honestly, for 12 years, I kind of felt like I was getting away with it. Now, this is my imposter syndrome showing. Anytime I had any level of success, my biggest fear was that people would find out that I didn't know what I was doing, so I just forced myself to work harder. In January of 2020, at a retreat with a bunch of authors I admire and respect, I finally admitted something to myself, and this is where Hamnet re-enters the picture. So Shakespeare is speaking with his brother-in-law Bartholomew, who is asking how the hell Shakespeare and his sister Agnes ended up together. You know, he mutters, I have never really understood why my sister chose you above all others. What do you want to go marrying him for? I said to her. What use is he? Bartholomew takes his crook and places it squarely between his feet. You know what she said to me? The husband, standing straight as a reed now, arms folded, lips pressed together, shakes his head. What did he say? That you had more hidden away inside you than anyone else she'd ever met. Look, I'm certainly no Shakespeare, but I can relate to having a lot hidden away inside. A wellspring of creativity, enthusiasm, even joy that is banging down the door, desperate to see daylight. In fact, I think most of us have more hidden away inside than any of us care to admit, or that any of us are okay sharing with the world. The parts of ourselves that we hold back for fear of being seen, or being a bother, or being judged. Personally, I felt like I had a lot more to share creatively with the world. I wanted to share thoughts on the human condition, what it means to live a good life, philosophy, and everything in between. I wanted to explore what it means to be a mortal, weird human in modern society, which is just so bizarre right now. I want to put more Steve out there and challenge myself creatively and take more risks. Of course, then life changed. 2020 brought the pandemic, Nerd Fitness doubled in size, and I started spending all of my time learning how to be a slightly less bad manager. Creatively, I just played the hits. Finally, in 2023, I couldn't take it anymore. I demoted myself twice in my own company and got to work on a secret project that I can finally talk about next month. And then life took a few turns in 2024. The end of my marriage, but also like the end of how the internet had worked for the previous 15 years. Google has changed, social media, ChatGPT, and other LLMs. It's a different world out there. At this point, I kind of found myself at a crossroads. And this is why I finally made the decision to separate Steve the writer and Nerd Fitness. It allowed me to take more creative risks, like with this personal YouTube channel, and Team Nerd Fitness also got to level up and stand on its own as well. Unsurprisingly, this scary decision that I had avoided for years ended up being one of the best things I could have possibly done for myself, and one of the best things I could have possibly done for Nerd Fitness. It brought me back to life creatively, got me excited again and optimistic, and reminded me how much fun it is to just make stuff again. It also helped me realize where I still have a lot of work to do. It's funny, but for somebody that literally traveled around the world, started a business and took a ton of risks and had to make a lot of really hard decisions over the past 15, 20 years, there's still a lot of my life where I let fear cast the deciding vote. Not asking for help for fear that I would be seen as a bother. Not writing about certain topics for fear of the controversy or upsetting people with my opinion. Saying no to speaking engagements out of fear of anxiety and stage fright and feeling deeply uncomfortable with the spotlight. Not saying hi to somebody who seems interesting simply because I'm afraid of rejection. Fear and anxiety around the future. Even though so much of it is out of my control, what a tragedy. Maybe not a Shakespearean tragedy, but still a tragedy nonetheless. So as the credits rolled on Hamnet, I sat there in the theater and this question popped into my mind. I drove home in silence, I went to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning and I wrote a single question in my journal. What if fear didn't get to cast the deciding vote today? I asked myself how things would be different if fear didn't win. What would I stop dragging my feet on? How would I show up differently in the world? What if I allowed myself to start ugly and be bad at things again? Look, fear is a completely understandable and perfectly human emotion. It's grounded in millennia of biology and also 4 decades of learned experiences for me. So when I feel fear, I can acknowledge it, I can accept it, but then I still get to be the one that casts the deciding vote on how I want to move forward. I'm gearing up for a really interesting 2026, a year that has me both excited and frankly terrified, a year whose outcome I can't predict, a year that will require me to step into the spotlight and be an advocate for my work in a way that I haven't had to do in a long time. This makes me deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Kind of like making this video makes me deeply uncomfortable. Essentially, I'm going to be putting things out in the world and say, I made this, I hope you like it. And the reality is, as Seth Godin once said, be judged or be ignored. I guess I'm choosing judgment. Ugh. I accept that I owe it to myself and to my work to be the most Steve version of Steve possible, and to be an advocate for that work and put it out on the planet and hope that it connects with other people and helps them not feel so alone. I'm honestly curious what life can look like when fear doesn't get to cast that deciding vote. What would it look like for you if fear didn't win? Is there something hidden away inside that probably deserves to see the sunlight? Would you allow yourself to take up more room or ask for help? Could you give yourself permission to be bad at something, even if it doesn't go perfectly or you might fail at it? Leave a comment below and let me know. Personally, I'm going to keep journaling with this prompt every morning and see what unfolds over the next few months. It's going to get interesting. So this is a video essay form that I'm trying out in my new half-built quasi YouTube/interview studio. Would love to know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe, all that jazz or whatever I'm supposed to say. And yeah, if you like this and you want to read the essay, they come out every Monday over at stevecam.com. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching. I think you're an amazing person. I know there is a lot hidden away inside, probably more than you realize, that is desperate to be shared with the world. And I hope you give it an opportunity to do so.